Now, Russia's hosting a military exhibition that features some of the most advanced weapons and military equipment in the world. The show has attracted many international buyers, including long-time US allies like Bahrain and Pakistan. And with conflict in the Middle East growing, so is the global arms business. Well, Russian President Vladimir Putin says that Moscow has made $14.5 billion from arms exports in 2015 and received orders worth a further $56 billion. Now, Russia has used some of that military hardware in Syria, where its jets have killed at least 3,200 civilians. That's more than Daesh. US-led airstrikes in the country have so far killed an estimated 600 civilians. Now, the war in Syria has helped Russia maintain its position as the world's second largest arms producer and exporter after the United States. Well, let's talk more on this now with Siemon Wezeman. He's a senior researcher at Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. He joins us now from the Swedish capital. Thank you very much for your time. First things first then, why have Russian arms sales increased so much in recent years?
Well, Russia has been building up to this. In the last few years, it has been at the level of about 14-15 billion every year. There is a lot of demand for weapons in the world. There is a lot of insecurity in Asia and the Middle East and Africa, even now again in Europe. So arms trade is doing reasonably well, and the Russians are still there. They still offer reasonably quality, good prices, low prices, and not too many questions asked when you want to buy weapons from Russia. Not too many questions about human rights, for example, or regimes that come to power in coup d'etats. So Russia is willing to supply.
I remember just under a year ago when Russia started its campaign in Syria, people were saying that this, in some respect, is going to be a shop window for Russian arms. Has that been the case?
Not really, I think. I mean, Russia has in the past always shown they have weapons, they work. Everybody agrees the things that they are built on experience. It's not new stuff. It's not a new country coming up with a new industry. They're reliable partners in general. They were willing to supply despite political issues. Showing the weapons that they actually work in war isn't that important anymore, and which also partly shows in how they're used in Syria. You see the highly advanced combat aircraft, Russian combat aircraft, dropping quite stupid, dumb, unguided weapons. That's not the best showcase. The best showcase is these things are there, the Russians buy them, they work, and they are reasonably priced. And then when a country like Egypt has problems getting their weapons from the US because of a coup d'etat, the Russians step in and say, we have no problems with that. And the Egyptians say, thank you very much.
And how far behind the United States is Russia in terms of global arms sales every year?
In financial terms, quite far behind. The US is still the big producer. Of course, the US companies are living off their own market mainly, but they're getting more and more into the export market also when US defense budgets decline. The Russians are more interested in the arms exports because their industry has for a long time been quite dependent on the exports. But they have strong competition, of course, from countries in Europe, which are also becoming more and more dependent on the exports to make sure that their industries survive.
Okay, Siemon Wezeman, thank you very much for your time.